Greetings, friends. This is Elizabeth Schermer with an intuitive reading for the Grids of Light on Monday, November 28th. Today's reading is in anticipation of tomorrow's new moon in Sagittarius, which occurs at 4:18 a.m. That's Pacific time on Tuesday, November 29th. Before I share the new moon reading, I'd like to say a little bit about the energy of Sagittarius, the Sagittarius moon, and a little bit about the specific astrology chart for this month's new moon. The card in front of you is art, the 14th trump, which in most decks is called temperance. And the word temperance refers to the tempering of steel, which is a process of the alchemy of intense heat and force or pressure that create a new substance that's strong and precise and inspired. And this card represents this archetype represents the month of Sagittarius, in which we have the opportunity to fully expand into personal illumination and creativity and dynamic willpower through a higher connection to our higher self, and an understanding of our own path of service and actualization in the world. For most of us, this moon couldn't come at a better time. The last several weeks have been super challenging, not only on a personal level, but on a collective level. And I'm happy to report that, as always, the universe is offering us the perfect, not just antidote to what's happening culturally, but the perfect recipe for us to take the next step in our own expansion. And so in the course of today's reading, I'm going to be offering personal and practical auspices or advice for the new moon. And at the same time, I'm also going to offer the collective opportunity, because most of you listening to this recording are here to be of service to the larger, greater good, and are very aware of the necessity of showing up now. And so on this level of personal evolution, there is no difference between the highest good for self and the highest good to be of service to life. So that's my intention today, is to offer this message to each of you, and also with all of the intensity that is happening in the world, I am offering the intention of us together connecting to this message in a way that we as a collective can be support and of service to the larger, greater good. And I specifically am sending intentions for healing and protection and light to all the warriors of light, physical and non-physical, who are supporting us right now in our journey of evolution on Earth. So, Sagittarius moon is always offers gifts of fire and in the form of willpower and illumination and inspiration and intuition, as I mentioned. The astrology chart for this month is super powerful and expresses the opportunity that we have now to really step forward out of this awakening that we have had over the last several weeks of new opportunity that's expressed through challenge. Challenges always represent, from the higher perspective, a new opportunity. So I want to say just a little bit about the Sabian symbol for 8 degrees Sagittarius, where the sun and moon are connecting at the new moon. And remember, this is a signature, energy signature of light that's available for the entire coming month. So we're preparing now, or whenever you hear this, whenever you drop into the energies, we are receiving an energy signature that unfolds over an entire month. And so the Sabian symbol for 8 degrees Sagittarius speaks to a new birth coming from the depths of the earth, with new abilities and understandings and elements of our own being formed. So this is an alchemy. I call this card art alchemy, the alchemy card. That's the image in the painting that you see in front of you. This is the alchemy of you experiencing a new level of your own true connection to self and what it means to be of service to light, what it means to be a warrior of light. I put the Knight of Wands here because he is the warrior that is represented, or the personal aspect of mastery that's represented in the month of Scorpio. And so he represents your dynamic vitality and willpower and confidence and focus and extreme life force that you have now to move forward with a vision of higher potential and possibility. And so one of the interesting things I want to say before we move on to the reading from the Sabian symbol is that this new birth and these new elements that are being formed from deep within are not just personal, but specifically are the indication is for new group identity, new group realization, new group inspiration, and the ability to work together to create something greater, a vision of something greater. And this will come through new understandings, new awareness, and that includes the ability to release established forms in order to create new social forms that are sustainable, based on freedom and wholeness and love, to be of service to life. If for those interested in astrology, those are the aspects indicated by Saturn and Mercury, which are near conjunction to the sun and moon at the new moon. Okay, that was a long introduction. It's important today, though, and so I wanted to really set the scene for the big picture opportunity for today's reading. So let's dive in. First card I'm going to share is in the position of circumstances, the Nine of Wands, called Strength. This is a strength that is indicated through a new quality of mastery. Nines are numbers of mastery, of self-actualization, and receiving new abilities. And this card, one of the synchronicities of this card is that in astrological terms, it's the sun in Sagittarius. So this is the full illumination of sun and moon, which are both represented on the card, coming together in Sagittarius, which is happening at the new moon, to give each of you, to give you listening to this, a new experience of your own personal power and authority, and new powers that are latent within, waiting to be activated, can be activated this month, starting now. And this enables you to step forward into your life with a new quality of coherence that comes from within, not relying on external circumstances for your coherence, but a coherence from internal alignment, which is represented by the vertical column here. That's your column of light being activated. And then your ability to stay focused and aligned and present comes from that inner alignment, which enables you to be ultimately flexible and responsive and creative to all the opportunities around you. And so supporting this from Source and from Spirit, in the position of Spirit, the Four of Wands, completion, refers to spiritual support in a kind of a foundation or grid of integration that's allowing you to come present to your life with this new awareness. The Four of Wands shows an ability to, it's not a completion in terms of an ending. The wheel indicates a new beginning that comes from an ability to embrace polarity and come to a full integration and awareness of all of the wholeness that's available in every circumstance. So this is the kind of support that's available for you. You can think of it as a new connection to a deep foundation. And that foundation exists all around you. And what that's leading to in the position of awareness and mind is the star. The star is the representation of you and your awareness of being bathed in light. It's your awareness of you as a star, as the connection to your higher self and what it means to receive the blessing of the gift of your light, and then your ability to actualize that light in the world. In astrology, this card represents Aquarius, and the highest aspect of Aquarius is an expanded consciousness of group participation. And so when I said earlier that the opportunity that's indicated by the astrology chart for this month is a new awareness of stepping into an evolutionary process of expanded understanding of how, as a group, we can create a better world. It's a long sentence. I hope that makes sense. These ideas are big, and I'm doing my best to bring them forward in a concise way. So, receiving the light that's available now. One of the poems I've been really attracted to and working with this month is a poem by Wendell Berry called "The Peace of Wild Things." And one of my favorite lines in all of poetry is his reference at the end of the poem to receiving the light of the day-blind stars, knowing that we're never alone. And so the light of the source, the light of support and love as coherence and the will to good is always around you. In the daytime, in the nighttime, and this is your experience of receiving that light, of receiving the inspiration, and with it, new understandings of how to move forward in service to life. So, knowing that this was the concrete message that's super practical and also super inspiring, I asked for one more card to give us insight or an additional piece of advice in today's spread. And the final card is the Princess of Discs. This is a specific message and encouragement that throughout this month, we are preparing for the birth of new light that is received on Earth at solstice, 1 month away at the new moon in Capricorn. And the Princess of Discs represents your process of gestating, of holding space, of nurturing new birth. The princess, I don't know if you can see in the painting, she's pregnant. And this card always represents the bringing forth of new life and the process of trust, deep trust. And at the base of her wand, her staff, is a beautiful diamond octahedron. And this represents her ability to draw down this light of the star and bring it into the earth for her good and for the good of the world. In the teachings of Hermetic Kabbalah, we understand this card to be the most powerful in the deck because she funnels all the light through her and into this realm. And so know that there's immense power available for you now, and the challenge is to trust the light within, to trust your own connection to light, and to trust the deep sense of inspiration that you have even in the midst of challenge, and even in the midst of fatigue, and even in the midst of maybe even feeling sometimes hopeless about the enormity of the challenges around us. Know that from a larger perspective, all is well. You are in the perfect place and time to make a significant contribution to the greater good that we are all creating together. So I'm going to end with go back to this beautiful picture of alchemy and your awareness that you are in the place to bring forward your highest and best purpose, and that everything is aligned for you to do this now. This is what we came for. So to all of you listening, I send wishes for a wonderful month, and I thank you for sharing in this work and for your work of showing up and your work of communicating messages of hope to your world, and for contributing to the connections and the grids of light that we're forming to support our evolution as a family and as a collective and as an earth. So I send these intentions out to you and to all the warriors of light. May we all be supported in the coming days. This is Elizabeth Schermer and the Alchemy Mystery School with an intuitive message for the grids of light.